we're not done relative to LGBTQ people. And I think it would be a very bad message to say, well, we got the Book of Order changed, therefore we're done. So I think there's a lot of work to be done living into the reality that's in the Book of Order.
Part of what Covenant right now is in the midst of growing into is a way to maintain its advocacy work on the General Assembly level, but also to make sure that local congregations have the resources they need to understand the movement toward inclusion and to be able to move that direction with integrity and respect to the people who both agree and disagree.
There still is a lot of work to do in terms of having GLBT people fully appreciated and accepted in our congregations. There still is a lot of work to do, but there also are lots of other kinds of injustice in the world.
LGBTQ issues, marriage equality issues, I think this is only kind of the tip of the iceberg. I think we still need to be looking at racial inequality and immigration.
The catchphrase we've used for the last almost 20 years is seeking a church as generous and just as God's grace. But I think the next chapter involves flipping those words. The generosity remains important, but we have to articulate justice. We have to articulate inclusion beyond LGBT issues, but also now in terms of race and accessibility, in terms of economics, in terms of gender.
Covenant Network is not sort of an all-purpose gay rights organization. It's not a political advocacy group. It's always been an organization whose mission is to strengthen the church. And I believe that's what we've done. And to the degree that the church can be stronger, I think we still have more work to do. People will probably say I'm being naive and idealistic, but I think the best days of the Presbyterian Church USA are yet to come.
The future of the PCUSA. We're becoming leaner and meaner. I don't mean mean.
I think for the future, I really would like us to find ways to achieve unity. And I think a lot of that is how do we work on building relationship.
What really worries me is that we won't be here if we don't reach out to ethnic groups. I don't see how we're going to ever make it.
We will have to become something different, perhaps less hierarchical, in order to be something more vibrant and fruitful.
I think our theology is our greatest gift to the future of the church.
We will be a denomination that spends less time protecting structures and monthly scheduled meetings to achieve our goals.
We may never all think the exact same thing.
We can't try to save ourselves by agreeing to the oppression of any of God's children for the sake of it's easier for us. Not an option.
It doesn't necessarily mean starting a food pantry and handing out food, but how can we be involved in maintaining people's dignity within our communities, but still finding ways to meet their needs? And I think that's where we can also then start reaching across the aisle to people who believe and think differently than we do, is let's find a common ground and work together on something that goes for building the kingdom.
As we continue to interpret what those core theological beliefs mean for us now, and to do that with openness and sincerity and across all the divisions that we have, I think that is a great hope.
We have African Americans, we have Hispanics, we have Asians, Native Americans, people who don't feel, who haven't been fully accepted and appreciated for their gifts as they are.
In the 19th century, the church split over slavery. In the 20th century, the church split over women. And now in the 21st century, the church splitting over LGBT issues. I think that the church is going to continue to grow and change in their understanding of these issues. and inclusion and equality.
As a church that's somewhat smaller and with fewer resources than we once had, we are forced to make decisions about what is most important. We are compelled to be good stewards of what we have.
In the last couple of years, there's been a lot of doomsday conversations about, oh, we're losing members, and oh, isn't that terrible? And yes, that's sad. But I think we're at a crossroads point. I think the future is bright.